What's good, Plumboro? I'm Drew Bartow.
I'm Mike Devine.
And together we are Sour Plums. We aim to entertain and educate more than 3 Plum residents by debating some of the trending topics in the borough, from school board and council happenings to business openings, conspiracy theories, and everything in between. Welcome to the Sour Plums podcast, friends. As you mentioned on our Facebook page, we do have a new co-host.
We do, and he's already not here.
He's already here. He missed his first show already. Welcome, Justin Newman. But we are excited to have Justin as a co-host, and we're even maybe just as excited to have his fill-in tonight, Jim McBride of Plum Inside Scoop. How you doing, Jimmy?
Good. Thanks for having me, guys. It was a little crazy last supposed to fill in for you guys last week, and Drew blew it off, which I was okay with because I was equally as sick. So I'm glad that we got to redo this, and I got to fill in this time.
Well, we were all a little under the weather last week, but we are planning to make up for that by doing back-to-back weeks, I think, to get back on track. Right, Mike?
Yeah, for the record, I felt just fine. But I was on vacation.
You were on vacation and working to be on the show anyway. We had a producer last week is all we had.
And for the record, I ran into some of my fans this week, and they said I should have hosted the show alone.
King Cat, I'm not going to say it's getting your head, but I think it's getting your head.
We need to find his mute button.
It's already big enough. There's some room up there for some actual substance.
All right, guys. What are we drinking tonight? Let's start with Mike.
So I wanted a bourbon and Coke tonight, so I went a Woodford Reserve Double Oak with a Coke.
Nice. Jimmy, anything?
I'm drinking a small icy light just to keep the day going.
That's small. It's about 27-ounce icy light over there.
36.
King Cat.
I'm drinking a Virgin Arnold Palmer.
And as customary, I'm drinking an IPA. It's Low Lev Summer Lupula, I believe. It's a tropical. It's got some pineapple in it. It's a good summer IPA.
So wait, Big Cat, I think all Arnold Palmers are virgin. If they have vodka in them, it's called a John Daly.
Can I? That's funny. Can I get a redo of that joke?
I mean, you can get it. You edit the show. Go for it.
No, it's fine.
All right, guys. I want to say thank you to our sponsors. We got Tresco Concrete, Continental Comb, the Jen Mascaro Real Estate Team, and the Lulo's Pizzeria. Continental Comb Barbershop, a traditional barbershop servicing the area since 1973. Up to date on all the new styles and cuts. Call 412-795-7555 and mention Sour Plums for $5 off any service.
Tresco Concrete, the best concrete products on the market. Ready-mix concrete delivered to your door, guaranteed to get hard or your money back. And as always, their concrete is all natural, no supplements, and always 100% Viagra-free.
The Jen Mascaro team proudly supports the Sour Plums podcast. When it comes to selling your home promptly and at peak value, look no further than the expertise of the Jen Mascaro team. With over a decade of industry experience, we guarantee to guide you seamlessly through the process. For personalized assistance, contact us at 412-607-6318 or email jen.mascaro@cbrealty.com.
Lulo's Pizzeria, serving up quality food, good grace, and burnt pizza since 2016. Local and woman-owned, located at 415 Unity Center Road in Plum. Call 412-795-1229 and mention Sour Plums Podcast for 10% off your order of $10 or more. This coupon is not valid with any other offer. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to jump right into Plum Problems. First one here, this is very specific to my house, which is in Plum, so it's a Plum problem. And I'm going to give my cousin a shout out, actually. I was listening, he does a podcast as well, Greenfield's Finest Podcast, and they do a segment called What's Grinding Their Gears. And his wife just went on vacation to Texas to visit his sister, and he was expecting a nice, relaxing week at home by himself, and she gave him a honey-do list, and he kind of went off on it. And I'm listening to this on my drive home from New York yesterday, dropped Jess and the girls off at JFK Airport. They flew to Paris, and I'm thinking, what the hell? Jess left me the same kind of list, and it's not like one or two things. It's a list of like 6 things on here, and I was like, I'm working, first of all, and now you're gonna leave me this list of stuff that I already don't have time to do, and now you want me to do it while you're not here, so you come back to these projects that are just going to be magically done now. It's bullshit.
Mike, the only list that someone should be making is a honey do it yourself list. If you're physically writing a list, that list better be for yourself as a reminder of things you need to do, not for somebody else. Especially they're leaving. They're going to, your wife went to Paris?
parents. They would say,
I know your wife doesn't listen to our show. She's not going to kill me, right? She doesn't even listen to us, right?
So she doesn't listen to the podcast at all, but she actually thinks this show is pretty funny.
Oh.
So her taste isn't that good, but at least she's listening.
No, but I stand firmly on nobody's making me a list of things to do. I don't care who you are. I'm going to make my own list or just not have a list at all. But I would never follow somebody else's list. That is for sure. Are you going to get it done, Mike, or are you going to ignore it?
I mean, this is my second marriage. I got to get it done. So I just
Any
want
of them
to
require
bitch.
tolls?
What's that, Jim?
Does any of them require tolls? Because if that's a yes, it's not getting done.
So
Just
first
saying.
of all, yes, they do require tolls.
That's not getting done.
Second of all, it's not that I can't use tools; it's that I don't have the time to use the tools.
I'm busy this week. I can't help you.
Yeah,
Honestly, I could use a list. Honestly, if Carly wrote me a list of stuff to get done, I think that'd be beneficial to me. I could check it off, manage my time. I need that.
Well, aren't you the perfect husband, King Cat? you just everyone's favorite sour plum for a reason. You suck up to the community.
It's either that or I forget what I have to do, and I forget to change light switches here for like 3 months.
Light switches or light bulbs?
Light switches in the wall.
Oh.
They're done now, but they sat here for 3 months.
Listen, Jess asks me to do stuff all the time, obviously, like every wife does. And I tell her all the time, I don't need you to badger me and remind me every 6 months to get it done. It'll get done eventually.
Yep.
But you being in my ear every 6 months about it, it's not going to help anything.
Makes you want to do it a little less, doesn't it? Sometimes.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, a lot less.
I feel like we're the only podcast, if we don't mention this, we're the only media stream at all who hasn't mentioned this. So, and there's been a development in the last week or so. The Hawk Tuah girl, right? How can we not talk about her?
Can you say that in the correct term, please?
Hawk Tuah?
You didn't give it enough zest. Looking for more zest.
I have no zest.
I've already gotten into arguments over this with people close to me that it's safe to say I did not win the argument. We agreed to disagree. And I'll say this on the Hawk Tuah phenomenon or whatever you want to call it. I just can't believe I said that. Thanks, Mike. I think there's a lot of things, and I did take some things from the opposing argument. I think there was a situation where you've got an inebriated young woman who was taken advantage of with some questioning, and her choice was also to do that and to drink and to go answer the question. I think the problem is she has to lean into this to make money off of it because
she's gonna be a millionaire.
She is. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna fade at some point. But she's going to make money off it now. She has to take advantage of it now because it will affect other types of employment in the future. Hey, want to come teach preschool? No, we're not going to give you that job. You're just not going to get that job. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. So I do feel bad long term for her. Short term, she's going to make a ton of money. She's already up on stage at Zach Bryan concerts and things like that. Yeah, and part of the other part of what's that?
She's been doing podcasts this week as well.
Yeah, she is, and so she will have that short term fame. I do think that'll wear out, and I do feel a little bad that's going to happen.
But to kind of piggyback off of what you said with this is time to cash in OnlyFans, right? She'll have $10 million tomorrow.
No, I mean you're right, and I think that's part of that's the part of the argument that I thought I was winning and I did not win is that I hate that it's the Kardashian way to fame. It's the say two words that are absurd at the right moment, and you're famous for that. Like 2 words that aren't really words, even sound effects, if you will. and we're a millionaire, and that's like, where's the hard work in that? Where's the? It's just the society we live in, though. So kudos to her for taking advantage of it. But I think she's going to have some trials and tribulations.
It's the American way.
I guess it is now. Yeah, I guess that's it. So thanks for bringing this up, Mike.
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah. King Cat, you got any opinions?
I heard a lot of rumors. I heard a lot of rumors about her that like she was a preschool teacher or kindergarten teacher, but she wasn't.
I don't think she lost her job either.
I don't think she lost her job. Her father wasn't a preacher or wasn't a priest. That was one of them. I thought she was being funny. Like, I don't think she was being or trying to be like over sexualized. I think she was just trying to be funny. I don't think she's like.
Yeah, I think so too.
Trying to be freaky.
Did you watch the whole thing? Because she killed it in that interview. Like she gave so many good one-liners. Like what'd they say? He asked how she gets over a breakup, and she said the only way to get over one is to get under another. Like, it was perfect.
She had them ready. She had the answers ready. Those feel staged. It feels staged.
Maybe she has worked hard on delivering those lines, and she's actually a comedian, and good for her.
Unraveling.
Yeah, I guess good for her.
The pretend fake. No, I'm just. My conspiracy theory is that it was all staged. Those interviews on the street, they had to have content. They don't just,
Well, let's say
around.
Let's say it was staged. That debunks Drew about just kind of falling into this. Now that's marketing at its finest, right? Like that's excellent. If she put all that thought into it and she got this and it went viral and that was her plan.
Hey, if she's willing to do that and to deal with any repercussions of it, then kudos to her. That's totally up to her, and that's her prerogative, I guess they would say.
Willing to do what, the Hawk Tuah or the
just the whole bit, the whole bit. If that's Mike, I'm going to defer for this. I'm out of the topic. I am out.
That was a beach ball. Come on, you lobbed that one up there.
One thing I do want to say is that if you guys ever watched Nathan For You on Comedy Central, the comedian Nathan Fielder, just for his show, made stuff look so realistic that he did a campaign and had like a pig save a animal that fell into this pond, and just for his show. And it was so amazing that it went super viral. People thought it was real, and he really worked hard to make it look like this happened. And like practically, it's crazy some of the things he pulled off, but multiple things he did for his show went viral, and people thought it was real. People thought it was amazing. I'm not saying this is what's happening with Hawk Tuah.
As the Malabar Cracker Barrel guy, I have no comment on her fame. That was all I'm going to say.
Jim told me earlier, if she don't Hawk Tuah, I don't talk Tuah.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
All right, on that note, let's move on. So I think this one is one that Big Cat's going to like. I just saw a TikTok, but I heard WWE is moving to Netflix, and it's going to be fully uncensored. And this next quote is from Pat McAfee. The PG era is over. So I think we're going to get, the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, it was pretty risque on what they got away with at that time. Going to Netflix with uncensored, I mean, it's going to be crazy, right?
I'm going to do something I never do on this show, and I'm going to defer to Big Cat, Jim, whoever wants to jump in here. As you guys learned from the very awful blind rankings we had a few weeks ago on wrestlers that Mike came up with. I don't know much about wrestling past 1993, so I'll defer to Big Cat over.
Well, I think the way they pushed the envelope with the Attitude Era, and like they would do like the two women wrestlers would come out and like the object of the match was to undress the other female, and that was like people were asking for it to be censored and canceled, and that's what hyped it up. Recently, they've been doing a storyline. If anyone's familiar with Bray Wyatt or The Fiend. So they're continuing a storyline of a former wrestler who passed away. His brother now has taken up the mantle of another character. And the way they're shooting these and the way they're producing these is like movie quality, like horror movie quality. Like it's like a whole scene now. And I think taking it to Netflix will make it R-rated, and there'll be a lot more like budget to use to make it like a horror or superhero or whatever theme they're going with.
I guess the big question is it going to be kid friendly still? I mean, it was pushing the envelope in the 90s, and they came back to more appropriate for kids. But I mean, I remember in the early to mid 90s, I was 12, 13, 14. I mean, I thought it was great at the time, right? Yeah. But do I want my 9-year-old to watch it now? I don't know.
Triple H said another problem they're having is like the audience. Whenever they're chanting things that can't be on TV, they have to like block the entire audience. Like you can't hear it all. They have to have like it deafened. So I think that's kind of what they're trying to help with too. They'll bring back blood and all that stuff, which whatever. But I think they're having a problem with the audience too.
Yeah, if it's just language and that kind of stuff, I don't see an issue. But
yeah,
if they push the envelope, no, I mean I think Vince McMahon's in a lot of hot water with how they were exploiting the women. So
yeah.
So yeah, that makes more sense that they're going to do it that way.
Could change, but that's kind of where Triple H was kind of hinting at with all that.
All right, so moving on. Thursday, when this episode drops in the morning, if you listen to this, this is your fair warning. It is fireworks season. It starts Thursday. Drew, I think you said a couple episodes ago, Plum has fall, winter, spring, and fireworks season.
Season, that's it.
Fireworks season is about to be upon us. So let's make sure that you handle your dogs correctly if they don't like them. All the vets out there. I mean, I know that's like a legit concern that a lot of people have with the vets and PTSD, but it's 4th of July. Fireworks are going to happen. Like, plan accordingly. Get ready. Jimmy,
Sure.
This is one you gave me. So, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, since I deferred last time, I'm going to jump right in there. I'll just cut you off. No, make up for it. We're back. All right. No, it's 4th of July, but beyond 4th of July, do we really have to hear it every night? Is that what we have to do? I mean, and you guys are dog owners. How does it affect you guys? Does it affect you at all? Do you care? Does it bother your pets? I mean, those are real concerns.
Yeah, I've had 3 dogs too. I mean, two right now, 3 total. Honestly, it's never bothered any of them. But most of the time, they're inside. Even when I've set them off myself, my dogs still kind of look and like hanker back a little bit. Kind of stay close to Jess or to me or the kids or whatever. But they don't really shake or whimper or anything like that. So it doesn't really bother them.
My dogs start barking and think somebody's at the door all the time. But listen, the Plum community page, when this happens, is my favorite time of the year. Like, you just look at them and you just can't stop it. You're like, listen, my drunk uncle is not going to stop shooting off fireworks. I don't care that it's mid-August. It's coming. I just don't know what to tell you. It's just going to keep coming.
Jimmy, you like it, not so much for the fireworks themselves, but for the reaction of the community. That's probably over the top, right, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. And there's people with issues, but man, it's just complaining on the news, all these pages we have, it's not going to stop it. They're still coming.
The Halloween, what night that is, and fireworks are really what got you started with Plum Inside Scoop.
It's my bread and butter, to say the least.
Without fireworks, there would be no Jimmy McBride.
Yeah, correct.
So, but I think for this weekend, it's acceptable Thursday through Sunday, right? It's
I agree with this entire weekend, Thursday through Sunday, acceptable. I do agree with that. After that, again, it's not like I'm pacing around in my underwear, opening my door, screaming out at the neighbors to shut up and stop. I'm not doing that. I'm not that cranky yet. Give me a few years.
But you have done it.
I have done it. I'm not doing it regularly. Okay.
I don't see why we have to stop before Christmas, but you guys do you.
So it started like 1777, you think? First year of independence?
Around.
Yeah.
Probably
around. Do you think someone complained back then? Do you think anyone complained back then?
I mean,
for sure.
Like every year with this?
Yeah, I think.
How many years?
Didn't Joseph Zambelli sign the Declaration of Independence?
I think he was number 2. Yeah. He was second one on there.
Yeah.
He rode in on a barge from
one of the 3 rivers.
The Monongahela.
Right, tell us, what's good in the hood?
Well, Mike, I'm happy to be joined tonight by Plum Girls varsity basketball assistant coach Jeremiah Diebler. I wanted to find out more about his path into coaching and what he sees for the future of girls basketball here in Plum. Coach, thanks for joining us on Sour Plums.
Oh, thank you for having me. I listen to all your guys' podcasts. It's very enjoyable. So I appreciate you for having me on.
It's nice when somebody comes on and knows what the podcast is about.
Yeah, unlike Jimmy Garris. But thank you, Jeremiah. So I want to kind of start with just some background info on yourself. Like, how long have you been on the staff at Plum, and what's your experience been like coaching the girls team?
So I've lived in Plum for 8 years now. With my daughter getting older and some of the things with the younger kids, I kind of want to get involved. So when the job opened up, it was a late open because I think they had somebody that went to a PT school. And I jumped on it. And the first conversation I had with Coach Mall was phenomenal. I mean, I think we talked for like over an hour or so, just talking about expectations, hours and all this kind of stuff. Because we don't do this for the pay. We're not going to make a lot of money, obviously. I mean, we're doing this because we want to teach kids a certain way to play the game and have a lot of fun.
Yeah. I understand that you represent just one branch of the impressive Diebler coaching tree. Your father, Keith, I found out he just retired in March from a career in coaching in Ohio. And your brother, Jake, was recently named the head coach at Ohio State on the men's side. And yet another brother, John, is an assistant at Butler University under Thad Matta. Clearly, coaching's in your blood. Can you share more about what that was like growing up, with your family background in coaching, and how you feel you all got into this?
Basketball's done a lot for our family. Obviously, my youngest brother playing at Ohio State, playing overseas. I mean, he was drafted in the second round of the Portland Trailblazers with Damon Lillard that year.
Wow.
And he got stuffed overseas. I mean, he was just, honestly, he came out like it was his senior year. He was just 3 years too early before the 3-point bonanza went crazy in the league and analytics. It's just given us so much. And it's just a way to give back. And yeah, Dad, I coached for 40 years. He's got a state chip. He's got a state runner up. All three of myself, my brothers were all player of the year in our division.
Wow.
John was Mr. Basketball. So we have an extensive knowledge, and we just kind of want to give it back. I mean, you saw Jake's interview when he was hired at Ohio State. It's about serving. It's about giving back and just being there for the kids and being, hopefully a wealth of knowledge to help them out.
Yeah, that's amazing. When I found all that out, I didn't know your brother was drafted in the NBA. That's insane. I told my son about you a little more today, a little more in depth than he knew, and he was quite impressed. He kind of wanted to be on the podcast tonight. But what was it like growing up? Like, it's just watching your dad coach. Did you say early on, like, I want to do that, or was it more like, I want to play in the league? What were your feelings growing up having that in your life for so long?
I think every kid wants to play in the league. My mom gave a silly answer to an interview a long time ago for the Fremont News Messenger about from where I was from. Saying, "Oh yeah, he could play in the league." Well, pump the brakes, Mom. I'm 6 foot. I'm more of a shooting guard. I could jump. I had a 40-inch vert, but I'm not that fast. So, but yeah, I mean, I was good. My brothers were better. Just flat out were better, and I'm cool with that. We all had good careers. Obviously, I went to college really late. I went back really late. That's how I met my wife, who's from Plum. I went back from age 26 to 29 and played at an AIA school in Kentucky. And it was a great experience. I got to live out my dream. I had one dream, play one meaningful game on a big floor. And we played Mississippi State at Mississippi State in an exhibition game, lost by 8. Up by 4, 2 minutes to go, and then they shot like 25 free throws. It was ridiculous, but still an awesome experience. I had 9 points off the bench. I had an and 1-3 right off the bench off a stagger screen. It's a great experience. You meet lifetime friends. I mean, some of my teammates are at my wedding and stuff. Basketball's given me so much. It's just different coaching girls, obviously, a little bit different.
Well, you mentioned coaching girls, so let's turn back a little bit to the Plum girls team, and we know you have some young talent coming up. We actually had Riley Stevens on our show a few episodes ago, and she's quite amazing girl and athlete. What are you going to need to see from next year's group to have a shot at not only making the playoffs, but maybe competing for a section title in 2025?
So obviously, new section, different teams. I mean, Armstrong now. The top to bottom, this is a very strong section. From our girls, replacing Megan from the offensive standpoint is going to be very difficult. Megan was a fantastic player. I loved watching film with her. I'm a big film guy. When you break down, after the film doesn't lie. It's going to show you what you do right, what you do wrong, where you can change things. Defensively, losing Pascal and Rayla and Anna and all those, our seniors that we lost, the girls that we got coming back are going to have to pick up the scoring load. And defensively, our schemes are going to be a lot different because we don't have a 6'1" girl roaming the post. Yeah. So we're going to have to be much better at forcing baseline, staying in front and really helping, and then helping the helper. It's the schemes are going to be really important this year.
And now, so when you look at maybe beyond 2025 and the girls you do have coming up, where do you see it heading right now as far as the talent you have, maybe even the middle school levels and the freshman, sophomore levels? What do you see beyond 2025 for the program?
We're trending up. The freshman class that we got coming in is a little light. I'm not saying it's light on talent, just light on kids. That's kind of a thing that's happening everywhere. Back home in Ohio, they wrote some articles. I mean, they got teams that are the size of Plum that can't field JV teams. It's wild to me.
Wow.
Because sports have always been a big part of my life. But our 8th grade class, we've got some really nice players there. Our 7th grade class, that's my daughter's class. I think we got some really good players in there. And obviously, Mike's got a daughter that'll be in the 6th grade class, and that class is loaded. We try to be involved with them as much as we can. I've spent a lot of time with the younger kids, just trying to get some verbiage in. Because the big thing is with skill development. This is one of the things, I don't want to drag it out too much on my answer here, but one of the things that I always see, we always line up kids on a baseline. We're going to hit the foul line, crossover with all these lines. All right, now between the legs, behind the back. I would prefer, and I'm going to try to write something up for the BBO as long as I think Coach Mo will be cool with it. The big thing is like, you got to learn go-to moves. We always taught like go-to moves. Like mine, I was a stutter step. concentrate on one move a year. Second, if you start in third grade and you get a go-to move, then go to fourth grade, go-to move with a counter, go-to move with a counter. By the time you're in high school, freshman year, you got 4 or 5 go-to moves at your side. So instead of just trying to teach a well-rounded, focus on something and then build it. Because as much as we want to win in fifth and sixth grade and create good habits, you still got to teach individual skill at that age because that's the most important thing.
And would you say, because you mentioned the individual skills and the individual moves, and that's something I don't hear a lot of. I hear about the team component of it and going through the workouts together and building that team and all learning the plays and learning the same things. But you talk about individual things. You can't just do that by attending team workouts and playing basketball for 3 months in a winter, right? You've got to work on it more than that, right?
Obviously, when kids are in sport, we don't want to take you out of your sport.
Sure.
If you got a little extra time and you can get some jumpers up, absolutely. What I tell the kids is like what I've been pushing this year because we have to shoot the ball better next year. That was one of the things. I mean, we went up to North Hills and we kind of laid an egg, and they came out. I mean, they were rip roaring, they were tearing it up. Kudos to them, but we shot terrible. And one of the big things is we've got to get better as a team and a unit at shooting the basketball. So what I try to tell them is, your 5 spots, your wing, your corner, your elbows, wing, corner, hit all 5 of those spots or whatever, 7 out of 10. Game speed shots and make 7 out of 10. And what you'll notice is when you get in the game, you'll become more confident and becomes more machine-like. And you'll start knocking down jumpers because at the end of the day, the 2 best shots in the game of basketball outside of free throws, I'm not counting free throws, 3s, layups. And that's your best 2 shots. So, we gotta get better shooting basketball.
Can you talk a little bit about, so you just mentioned about, we talked about the future of the program. And, one of the things I get to see firsthand is that, one, you're showing up to the 5th and 6th grade practices. Well, you're an assistant coach for 6th grade. You're showing up to Jess's practices with the 5th graders. And now even these girls that are coming up into varsity for the summer programs, like for the summer practices, you're inviting some of these younger girls out to start to get to run with the varsity because that's making these younger girls better. The speed's faster, the game's faster. Like everything that they're doing is building your program, and that's really what I think Plum's been lacking across all sports is that building of the program from the bottom, from the youngest kids. And I see you doing it firsthand, and I think it's going to make a huge difference down the line.
Well, I'm invested. I think my daughter's pretty good. She's raw, but super athletic. But the biggest thing is it's not about making one kid a superstar. The superstar thing, that talk is always funny to me. Basketball is a feast or famine sport. You're either going to eat or you're going to starve. Your better players are always going to take more shots, and that's just the way it works itself out. But a kid that's great in 5th grade may not be great by the time they're in high school. I mean, that's why it's so important to kids. So that way you don't lose some of the cracks that go, hey, coach never worked with me. I don't want to do this anymore. And then they end up on the soccer field or lacrosse or doing other sports, and you kind of miss out on some great athletes. So I think it's important to involve all the kids and try to develop as many as we can.
That's a great point. And Coach, and people aren't really involved. If you're not involved in it, you don't really know what goes into being a coach at the high school level. And especially like the life of an assistant. Does every member of the staff have a specific responsibility or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? Are there different things you focus on during the season and another assistant coach focuses on something else, developmental stages for the players? Or if so, what are your primary roles on the staff?
My primary role last year when I stepped in, the young lady that I replaced was in charge of substituting. I got a good feel for the girls right away, kind of how substituting should work, who should stay in, who should need a break. At the end of the day, Coach Maul has got the final say. He vetoed me 3 times during the season, but I say, hey, he only vetoed me 3 times during the season. That's not bad.
That's pretty
good. I might
throw
somebody in there. Yeah, right. He might be okay. All right, we're gonna pull this back. But Coach Maul is awesome. Like I said, I've never really coached. I mean, I've been a head coach. I mainly just coached under my dad. I coached 1 year in college with a guy that I played against. He was a coach that I played against when I played. This is the first time where I've had extended time working with somebody that's not my father. I think it's great. He's done a great job. He really cares. He knows his game. I mean, no coach is ever going to be 100% in philosophical on how we do things. Coach is a set guy. I like to run and shoot.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's my job to support him. And I think you look at the way how efficient we are on offense last year. I mean, Coach Schmaltz got great sets. And they're great, and we ran really, really well. And, it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. It's all about execution in your position and having the individual skills to be able to succeed in that position.
So you guys just hired a new coach to middle school. Are you worried about this hire?
Oh man, you're trying to open a can of worms tonight, aren't you? I think Jess will do a good job with the girls. It's different than coaching the younger girls. What she needs to understand is we're on this together. If she needs help, whatever, we're here. I think she'll be fine. She's just got the biggest thing is what she doesn't understand is, and I don't mind saying this to you, she has a very important role on the staff this year because that 8th grade class is really good. We got some players in that class, and they need to be developed and be ready to go to step into some roles because we've always got kids graduating. You never know when somebody gets hurt. You got to have somebody to be able to step up and be ready to go if they're called upon.
Well, she played for Coach Mall. I won't say how many years ago because either her or him will get mad at me. But it was a couple decades ago. But I think I think that's going to help. Obviously, she understands how he coaches and be able to bring that to you guys. But I think she's a blank canvas and ready to do what you guys need her to do.
Coaching middle school, and the season changed this year. Obviously, we had that weird season where it was like 6 weeks in the fall, and now we've moved it to where we're going to be like the boys season. I think the boys had a regular season. It was like November through February or whatever it was. So that'll get them accustomed to actually, playing basketball. And we don't lose years of development when they're in the middle school because that is so important. Like to have 6 weeks of basketball, like what are you supposed to do? Like, then that's one of the reasons why we do bring the younger kids into the program with the older kids because I'd like to put them in front of good kids so that way they understand and they see what hard work and stuff. Because we made the playoffs a couple of years in a row, so now we just got to keep building on it.
Drew Carper was on a few weeks ago, and he said that he sees in the next probably 2 to 3 years that Plum wins something at the WPIAL level. What do you think the chances of the girls' basketball being that sport that we win a WPIAL championship in the next, let's say, 3 years?
If the girls can believe in themselves at 50% of the way that I believe in them, then we got a shot. At the end of the day, they're going to have to put in the work. As much as I would love to shoot them for it, I can't do it. But we got some players, and as long as they show up, work hard, and lead some of the kids that need to be led, I think we could be very, very competitive this year and in the years coming.
So no pressure on Coach Devine at the 8th grade level, right? No, none at all.
He's got some pressure. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, there is some talented girls. So they've been playing. We've had some 7th graders and 8th graders and freshmen playing JV basketball in Fox Chapel, and the skill part is where it gets you. We've got some kids that can physically play, but the skill part, just because you're playing, you're talking 12, 13, 14-year-old girls against 15, 16, 17. It's different. But I tell you, they compete, and I just think she should have a lot of fun coaching that class, really.
All right. Well, Coach Jeremiah Diebler, assistant coach for the Plum girls varsity basketball team. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You gonna stick around for a little while? Have some fun?
Absolutely. I love this part coming up. I love this stuff.
Just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Tresco Concrete, Continental Comb, the Jen Mascara Real Estate Team, and Lululo's Pizzeria. Continental Comb Barbershop, a traditional barbershop servicing the area since 1973. Up to date on all the new styles and cuts. Call 412-795-7555 and mention Sour Plums for $5 off any service.
Tresco Concrete, the best concrete products on the market. Ready-mix concrete delivered to your door, guaranteed to get hard or your money back. And as always, their concrete is all natural, no supplements, and always 100% Viagra-free.
The Jen Mascaro team proudly supports the Sour Plums podcast. When it comes to selling your home promptly and at peak value, look no further than the expertise of the Jen Mascaro team. With over a decade of industry experience, we guarantee to guide you seamlessly through the process. For personalized assistance, contact us at 412-607-6318 or email jen.mascaro@cbrealty.com.
Lululo's Pizzeria, serving up quality food, good grace, and burnt pizza since 2016. Local and woman-owned, located at 415 Unity Center Road in Plum. Call 412-795-1229 and mention Sour Plums Podcast for 10% off your order of $10 or more. This coupon is not valid with any other offer.
All right, Mike, you got some Would You Rather for us tonight?
I do. All right, so tonight's Would You Rather. Would you rather start life over again with all the knowledge you have right now, or be given $10 million today?
Ooh, this all came back to if I started life over again, knowing what I knew now and all the knowledge I have, I'd be able to recognize crazy eyes and narcissism a little better. But, overall, it came down to I wouldn't have my kids. I'd have if I'd have other kids or something else like, and that for me, I have my kids, and that's what I'm happiest about in my life. I wouldn't change that at all. And so give me the 10 million and then figure out what to do.
So I actually fully disagree with you because I think
you're like, fuck them kids.
No. There are days I think that, but
use FTK, Drew. FTK.
Oh, so that's what I meant. Yeah.
I don't know that I would change anything in my life with the knowledge I had because I was married before and got divorced, and and the timing was right for where I met Jess and had my kids. And so would I change any of those experiences? Maybe I wouldn't marry the last one, but knowing if I just waited till when I met Jess, just kind of wait and have fun before that. But I think if I'm looking at this from a financial aspect, $10 million would be great to have right now.
Yeah.
But if I had all the knowledge I had right now, go back and mine some Bitcoin for pretty cheap, and then you have way more than $10 million. Play some stocks. I mean, buy Apple stock in the early 90s. I mean, there's so much you could do with that knowledge from a financial aspect, and still save yourself some of those heartaches that you had throughout your life.
Yeah, that's fair. I was at that part of the process until I, thought about my kids. Unlike you, King Cat. What do you think?
I would still have my kids.
Mike, you are king of the loopholes. It's start over. It's start over from right now, not go back, 40, 45 years?
43,
50.
Thank you.
43. Okay, I was right. I was in the range.
I was not. I thought it was 50. Go on.
It's start over. It's start over right now. I would take 10 million because there's no chance. I'm starting over in a baby's body, knowing what that would be crazy.
No facial hair.
I would be crazy. Whatever. I'm taking 10 million right now.
Jimmy.
10 million is way too easy. I'm staying with it. That's a lot of work going back in the past, going through all that stuff. No, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. Give me the 10 million. I'm out. Plus minus the taxes that I have to pay, I'm sure.
Of course. Jeremiah, You stuck around. What are you thinking?
It's a 10 million. 10 million for me. And at the end of the day, I could not sit there and not have any guarantees of my baby girl and my boy. I just, no way. I'll take the 10 mil. I just need a house on the lake and I'm good to go.
There you go.
So, all right. So let me ask this question: if you all had your $10 million, what's the one big purchase? Jeremiah, you just said the house on the lake. That's awesome. What would you do with that 10 million?
I mean, you talking to me?
I'm talking to everybody, and clearly nobody else thought about it that far.
I mean, listen, man. I said it's a lake on the house for me. It's a house on the lake. I got to get the house on the lake for me.
Sounds like Drew's going to find that Hawk Tuah girl with his money.
You're trying to get me in trouble, Mike. That's what you're trying to do.
Again, it was too easy.
No, I think whatever I want, right? I don't know that I have a big expense that I would. Yeah, probably a big house, that kind of thing. Maybe on the lake for me. Maybe actually away from people. The older I get, when I was younger in my 20s, I wanted to be in a community and in a plan and around people. And the older I get, the more I start to understand the kind of no neighbor, live on your own out there, kind of close to things, but just not having people right next to you. So I think that's what I would probably do just to get away from people. And I probably wouldn't have to, have a podcast to make friends. So no,
honestly, I'm buying every Plum resident an umbrella and autographing it to them. Just letting them know I did it. That is my first big purchase right there.
I'm buying a monster truck.
What?
I like that.
My God.
That would be so awesome.
Where are you going to
I'm
go with it?
full size.
We're
I
going to
got
park
10
it.
million. I got 10 million to back me up. It's $250,000. That's nothing.
Is that your everyday car?
I would enter shows and run over cars with a monster truck.
So that would be your
King-
new job too. That would be an
King
investment.
Cat. I would drive
Okay.
a monster
Okay.
truck. Yeah. Mhm.
King Cat. Just a big AI created cat with a crown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arms crossed.
Yeah. I like it.
All right. That's enough. Drew, is it time to drop the Grammar Hammer and the people of Plum?
It is, and I was just showing off my new Grammar Hammer T-shirt. Anybody can get a hand if they want one. I'm sure I know someone who can make one for them. But yeah, I it's not so much of a Grammar Hammer, but I've been here in Plum for 15 years now, and I don't know what we're called. Plum residents. What are we? And I looked it up and I couldn't find it. Wikipedia failed me. Maybe it's somewhere out there. But are we Plumians? Plumites? Does anybody know before I declare what I think we should be? It's pretty obvious to me.
From the time I was in school, I moved here when I was 12. So I've been here 31 years. I always said Plumites growing up. But if you talk to people outside of Plum, they call us Plum Bums.
I don't think that's what we probably should self-describe.
No, I don't think it's a compliment.
I've also heard it probably somewhere along the banks of Murraysville. It's called Plum Scum. I think I've heard my Franklin Regional fans call us that back in the day. I think when my son was playing baseball and we had 9-year-olds cheering, that was always nice. But no, so this is. Does anybody else? Jeremiah, have you heard anything? Do you know?
I have not. I've called my wife and Plum people lots of names that I won't repeat on here. I think one of the ones that I can use is Plum Prunes. I used to joke with her about calling the Plum Prunes all the time. Just I don't know why. It just whatever. Just however I could agitate her, it was good for me.
We're the people of Plum. Plain and simple. Done.
People
I
of
don't know why
Plum.
people of Plum. It's it. People of Plum.
We're going to put this up for a debate on our page. We can be called the people of Plum.
So we are.
Or what I believe we should be called, and it's simple. I announce ourselves on the show this way when I intro us sometimes. Plummers. I think that it flows, it fits. I know Mike's shaking his head. Jeremiah's already disgusted. I like that. When I can quickly disgust people, I think I have a winner. So right now the best two options we have are people of Plum and Plummers, unless we have a third option in the
Why not just the home of the car wash?
The car wash. I like it. The car wash or many car washes? I don't know.
The car wash. It'll be like the Ohio State. It'll be you are the home of the car wash.
You just lost me there. Ohio State reference, I'm out.
All right, Mike, that's all I had tonight for Grammar Hammer. Really short and simple one. We've had a great show so far and a long show. That's a really simple one. I'll put a poll up, and if there's any other contributions, anytime I put a poll up online and I make the mistake of not closing it off that other people can put options on there, it burns me every time. I just forget to click that button that says, I know, and Jimmy's the culprit. So
You're welcome.
Jimmy and the co-hosts of this show are the main culprits. I don't know why. I don't know why they're the co-hosts now, but no. We'll put it up on the Facebook page. You know what I'm really excited about tonight is blind rankings. We always talk about how we love blind ranking, except for the wrestling ones. That was a terrible one. I think we agreed community-wise on that, Mike. But even Jeremiah's like, yeah.
No HBK? Come on, man. You guys are talking about
Razor
wrestling earlier. I was
Ramon.
like, can I get HBK walking in here or what?
We thought Razor Ramon was Italian, so that was problematic. That was problematic.
That was awful.
I was on the right side of that, so I was on the right side of that.
But as you know, I'll explain what blind rankings are.
Wait. Before we go into that.
Go ahead, Mike. Interrupt.
Before we go into that, listen, I got a lot of shit about last time's blind rankings, but listen,
well deserved.
If I threw The Rock and Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan up there and Macho Man, everybody's expecting that. I have to throw ones at you that you're not expecting, so we can actually rank these people blindly and get a legit one. And somebody made a comment that 2 McFoley characters, that was on purpose. Come on. Well, first of all, Mankind's a big name. He was the biggest name on there, but everybody can piss off.
Well, Mike, here's the thing though. It was such a widespread miss for you that we have decided to give our co-host filling in for our co-host who should be here, Jimmy McBride is going to do the blind rankings tonight. And again, just to remind everyone, blind rankings, Jimmy's going to throw out individually 5 things within a category. We have to rank them blindly without knowing what the next one is, and I'm pretty sure Jimmy's excited about tonight.
I am excited. First of all, happy Bobby Bow Day to everyone. Forgot to mention that earlier.
I think it's Mary Bobby Bow Day.
Yes.
Mary
How's
Bobby
everybody's
Bow
blood
Day.
pressure? It's about to go up.
Oh.
Okay. Annoying things people do.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I got a piece of paper.
Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Hold on. How are we ranking this? One's the most annoying or the least annoying?
One's is the most annoying.
Okay.
5.
All right. People talking on speakerphone in public. Full-blown conversation, speakerphone.
That's a 2 for me. Oh my gosh, man, that drives me nuts. That's a 2.
My strategy is, this hasn't failed me. Some would disagree. I want to put it at 3 because I just have a feeling you're going to pull some crazy shit out of the hat. So I'm going to go with 3, but speakerphone in public, speakerphone in public's bad, but I also don't like earpod in public because I think they're talking to me, and I turned to people, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I know. But I'll go speakerphone at 3. Yeah.
I'm going to go with 3 just because I usually know when Drew's onto something here and I'm following his lead. But with speakerphone, maybe you pick up like a nugget of like gossip that doesn't involve you, but you hear something like interesting.
That's a good point. I like that, King Cat. That's good. I hate that I'm calling you King Cat, but go ahead.
I'm going to go 4. Speakerphone itself talking doesn't bother me that much, but I'll tell you, if they FaceTime, I don't know why, but that just gets me going. But when people do talk on speakerphone, I hate the way they hold the phone like this when they talk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just gave a visual on an audio podcast, but it's irrelevant. So I'm gonna go 4.
Improper grammar, especially Facebook battles.
That's 5 for me. English is a living language. As long as I can understand you, that's a 5 for me.
I mean, as a creator and promoter of the Grammar Hammer, if I go anything other than 1, I can't. I have to go 1, or I feel like a sellout. I got to go 1.
It's interesting that you chose Grammar Hammer over the other term for someone that is a stickler for grammar, right? Do we remember a grammar Nazi? Yeah, honestly, we used to say that in high school. If someone would always correct your, they were a grammar Nazi.
But Grammar Hammer rhymes, and also, I don't think I could wear a shirt with grammar and a swastika. I don't think that would. I don't think that would.
We workshopped it. We workshopped it. The colors weren't right. Yeah. Black, red, and white.
Symbols weren't right. On. Yeah, it just didn't work. Didn't work.
I say all that to say that I am one to correct more of like in a trolling way. It doesn't really bother me, so I'll go 4 for this one.
Improper grammar does bother me, but it doesn't like get me going. But I do like Big Cat just said. Whenever people are arguing with me, I like to correct their grammar just because it pisses them off to no end. And I'm very strategic when I argue with people. I have a lot of little innuendos that I do, and because if I don't win, I'm gonna just piss you off to no end if I don't win that argument. But I'm gonna put it at 5. I do correct my kids' grammar a lot because I just want them to speak correctly.
Yeah, you don't want to be a victim of the Grammar Hammer. No. Also, I think our future co-host Justin Newman would probably put this at 1 or 2. I feel like he's on that wavelength with me.
Listen,
we will.
My family has a group text, like my extended family, with my two aunts and uncles and cousins. There's like 28 of us, 29 in this group, and they all listen to the podcast. And let me tell you, there's always mistyped words, and the number of times I hear Grammar Hammer in a day is unbelievable.
I love it. I love that we've done that. I said this a couple weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago. I love that people in the public are actually using that terms like online, like in Plum community pages, in group chats. I love that. I do. I feel like I've contributed something to this community. That's it. That's about all. But
backing in when you should be pulling in. You're in a rush. People are taking their dolly time.
4. Mm-hmm. Again, that's a little low for me. Listen, I'm in a rush, but hey, I'll find a spot. As long as I'm there in the area, I feel like I can move quick enough to get to where I need to go. So I'll go 4 on that.
You all know I hate waiting on people that are backing in. I do. I don't. You're not impressing me. I just get your shit done. But it's not like I'm a raging lunatic about it. It's definitely not any worse than speakerphone. I'll go 4.
I'll go with 5. I don't mind backing in if I have to. It's the pulling out that always gets me.
Come on.
If I had 5 open, I'd put it at 5. It doesn't bother me at all, and I feel very attacked on this one.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah. Listen, if you're waiting on somebody to back in, they just don't know how to do it. They shouldn't be doing it anyway. But I'm going to go 3 there.
You have a good group text going. Somebody has an Android phone. Messes up everything. Jeremiah.
All right. If I could give that a 12, I'd give it. Listen.
What?
Android is by far the superior phone. It's not even close. I have sold phones for years and years and years, and I'm telling you, it's not even close from function. That's that. I'll give that a 3 because I know the next one's going to drive me nuts. Oh, but yeah, for sure, That no, I'm an Android guy.
I did not know Newman was on the show. It's just there he is. I'm gonna go with 5 because it doesn't bother me that much. I'll be honest with you, but and there's gonna be something better too. All these are very personal, so I don't know what number 2 could be.
You mean the last one?
For me, it's gonna be my number 2 by default. So this is 5 for me.
I'll give you a spoiler. My number 1 is the last one.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it at 2.
I'm going 1. It bothers me, and I think if I had an Android, then it would probably bother me the other way if it was iPhones. It's just I'm more annoyed with phone companies not merging the technology to just make everything better. Like the videos, the photos, the videos, when you send them across platforms, it sucks.
Yep.
And it just bothers me. And then it causes arguments and just gets me going.
You're driving, you're running late, you're doing good speed, we'll leave it at that. Somebody aggressively cuts you off. Next thing you know it, you're going 20 under the speed limit. Now you're late because somebody can't go the speed limit and they just cut you off for no reason. Now you're under the speed limit. Fire away. Everybody has this at 1 or 2.
All right. Hey, that's 1. I'm telling you. Listen, if you are in a hurry to pull out in front of me, then you better at least do 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. Because if you don't, you need to be able to hit a button that just side swipes them off the road. I will say that is this is my kryptonite. I get really fired up in the car. I'll call my wife on the way home from work, and it'll just be it's like I have Tourette's. I'll just start screaming at the road. I'm like, what are we doing here? I won't say what I say, but I get really fired up. Good. So I am so happy that I held on to my 1 for that. That is 1-1-1.
I'm fired up just talking about it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, my blood is boiling.
Yep. Oh man, I'm not that passionate, but I'm glad it's a 2 though. I am glad it's a 2 because it'll piss you off. I can't. I don't know if I have the rule where you have to go 10 miles per hour over if you cut me off, but I do understand where you're coming from, Jeremiah. I'm happy with that being a 2 because it's one of those things that does. When I'm out of the moment, I'm not as pissed just sitting here thinking about it, but I know when it happens to me, it is infuriating.
I immediately think of every time it's happened to me in my entire life. And I
flashbacks.
I need to remember what my therapist told me. And just, they can't hurt you. You're safe. It's at 1. It would be at 1 if you gave it to me first. It's so annoying and it's so frustrating. Yeah.
All right, I should have put the Android 1 at 2 and put this at 1 because this really does get me going. I mean, I'm not proud of this, but my kids walk around the house calling people twat waffles because that's my go-to phrase in the car. And then I really lay into people calling them a twat waffle, and this it pisses me off so bad. Like Jeremiah said, if you cut me off, if you get in front of me, go the speed I was going, or just get the hell out of the way. You can get behind me and you can do whatever you want behind me. But I was driving home on the turnpike yesterday, and when there's 2 lanes and there's 2 cars both going equally as slow,
it's awful.
And get the fuck out of my way.
I'll tell you what, for me, number 1 on steroids would be if you combine my 1 and 2. Somebody cutting me off while using improper grammar. We're playing bumper cars at that point. I think we're playing bumper cars at that point.
All right. So what's everybody's go-to swear word or saying whenever somebody cuts you off or when you're in the car?
This is going to be
one.
Oh, I don't know if I can say my go-to, to be honest with you. I don't think the last time I did that, I got in a lot of trouble.
I just said twat waffle. Come on.
I know you did. I'll just say it's a lovely word. Jeremiah.
I'm not their own thing, man. I feel like it could get me in trouble. I am the king of. I do drop the occasional F-bombs. I try really hard not to, but when I get angry, it's a whole lot of effing. So yeah,
I'll say my PG version. Okay, I have a habit of saying a very condescending baby girl. I don't know if the driver's a man or a woman or 18 or 73. I'm like, baby girl, why would you do that? And I do have that. So I feel like that gets me in trouble with some people I know. But yeah, I do have a habit of saying that. That's my PG rate when the kids are in the car. That's my PG version.
Mine's usually F word stick or ass hat. Those are usually the two that will come out real quick.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those are the two go-to. And there's a lot of swearing. A lot. Especially whenever I'm late. Because it was my fault, now it's your fault.
Yelling just ends up hurting my voice for like no reason. I don't even get to say it to them. So I just take a picture of their license plate.
Ooh.
But what do you do with it?
Report it to the cops.
I got cut off by a work truck.
And
I was like, what? I'm going to yell at somebody or yell alone to myself. So, I mean, the number of the work truck was what almost sideswiped me. So I just called and gave him a piece of my mind. Like, somebody in your work truck is legally driving right in front of me with your name on it. Like, let's be a little more intelligent there. Don't cut off somebody in a company truck.
Well, Jimmy, I mean, customary is Mike will go through his entire list right now really quickly. What's yours? 1 through 5.
Bad drivers, speakerphone, Android, backing in, and grammar.
Okay, that's fair.
That's it.
Grammar should be higher, but no. Yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
sure.
say both as Mike. Like, it don't bother me, but I'm gonna let it bother you.
Clearly, it don't bother me. Clearly, it is 5. It is 50 for you.
That's why I said it.
Son of a bitch. He knows how to fire me up.
That's what I'm here for today.
Well, Jimmy, that was a lot of fun. Good job, Jimmy. Thank
You're
you for doing that. We'll probably have to have you on and do it again. Sound like fun?
I'm in for that. I'm just here to raise everybody's blood pressure, keep everybody safe.
You did it, Mike. Mike, do we have any voicemails tonight?
We have one from last week.
People Plums, it's me, Jim McBride. Let's just talk about this wrestling list. First of all, there was like 1 or 2 good names on there. Razor Ramon was fantastic, but he was from Miami. Everything you guys listed, not it. That was something. So round of applause for everyone there. Next, how do you list 2 Mankind's? And Mick Foley's rather. Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack, all the same guy. And he was listed twice. Anyways, who's everybody's favorite wrestler? Thanks a lot. First time caller, big fan. Keep it up, guys. Bye.
I'll do this quickly. My favorite wrestler, Jimmy, Ultimate Warrior.
That's right. You were in the early 90s, yeah?
I was. That's the last time I watched wrestling, really. Really.
So I have 2. I was a big Stone Cold fan. I liked him a lot. He was great. But the first wrestler I remember seeing live at the Civic Arena, like on a house show, was Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And he just because he was awesome, put on a good show. Like, he just was one of my nostalgic favorites.
I'll tell you. So Stone Cold, by far, got me back into wrestling after the Hogan years. I like Hogan over Warrior. No offense, but Warrior still great, dude. He was a specimen.
It's fun, yeah.
But Stone Cold, it was very close. HBK, man. Tune up the band. Sweet Chin music all day. Love it.
I was Stone Cold, followed by closely Shawn Michaels. Just the way it was.
My guy.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Jimmy just answered his own question.
I had to. I didn't even know that guy.
He just answered. King Cat.
There's so many because there was different times in my life that I wasn't allowed to watch WWF when I was younger. So I missed a lot of the Attitude stuff, and revisiting it all, like Undertaker has to be up there, is like his overall character. Stone Cold, it was just like so good all the time. When I watched it live, no one got me excited for wrestling the way Goldberg did. And I know, like, hindsight, he couldn't wrestle long, and he wasn't really like a finesse wrestler. He was just kind of a bruiser. The way his streak did, and the way they handled that, it felt like he was invincible, and it just felt so good to be a fan of his.
Can I address something else in this voicemail from this random person we got?
Sure. I mean, yeah. You're the
He bashed
you're the
you
man.
because you're a terrible list, but go on.
Mick Foley had how many characters? Could we do a blind ranking on just Mick Foley's characters?
3.
Just 3?
That's it.
No,
Dude,
Cactus
love
Jack.
Cactus Jack, Mankind.
That's the list.
And Mick Foley.
And
He was
Mick
Mick
Foley,
Foley.
yeah. That color was still wrong. It was a good list. This is bullying at its finest.
I wish had two Jimmy McBrides on the show. That's amazing. That's a record,
Welcome.
Jimmy.
It is.
You're welcome. I didn't say thank you. I just said we had to.
No. You're welcome.
He was just stating a fact. It is a record.
Hey, Mike, do you have any shout outs tonight?
I do. We touched on one of them already. Just shout out to my wife. Got hired as the middle school coach. She's very excited about it. And then also PBSA just had all of their championship games. So all the kids did a great job. We had, I think over the last 3 weeks, we had all of our different age groups for our in-house teams go through the playoffs and everything. Some of our travel leagues, I know, as you get older, there's not enough in-house teams to play. So we partner with other communities around us. And softball and 10U softball, Plum had the first and second place team in our division. So that was a great job there. And then I think our boys, I think it was our 13U team, they just demolished everybody this year in baseball. They were in a new league and they ran away with that one. So
awesome.
Good job to all the kids.
Yeah, this is a couple or a few weeks old now just because of the rescheduling. But the boys and girls bowling teams went to nationals a few weeks ago. The boys finished 10th and the girls finished 15th, with the team captain finishing 4th in singles, which is super impressive. So congratulations to the boys and girls bowling teams. And also a shout out to rising junior Owen Proskin for placing 4th in the decathlon at the ADIDAS Track Nationals in Greensboro, North Carolina. So congratulations, Owen. We have quite the impressive lineup of athletes across all our sports here in Plum, and it seems to be increasing under Drew's guidance. So congratulations to our athletes.
I'm going to give a quick one to everybody who helps out on like all the boards for like kids youth programs. Like there's a lot of work that goes into it. I know my wife puts a ton of work in the concession stand. It's crazy. And, even as a coach, I show up and like things are ready. So things like that don't get looked at too well. And I feel like they're unsung heroes of Plum at times.
Well said, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thank you once again to Jeremiah Diebler for joining our show tonight, and also to the infamous Jim McBride for filling in for our new co-host, Justin Newman. Thank you, Jimmy. And thank you for listening to Sour Plums. Like this episode, subscribe to our channel on SoundCloud, Spotify, or YouTube. Share if you care. I'm Drew Bartow.
I'm Mike Devine.
And we're out.